Hi all, welcome back to more Field Commander Robert E. Lee. Playing the what is it again? 7 Days Battles campaign. So which is the first campaign. It's obviously a solo game here, and this is part 3. Right, so just finished watching part 2 earlier and got it uploaded there. Had to add a comment and just to sort of, I should really do that for the first part of any video that I create because somebody might be only interested in a specific game, especially if you put it on BGG. Somebody might not be watching my channel and looked at my videos before. I think there should always come as a bit of a warning in the header about how my videos are going to go. Long-winded affairs. Eventually, you're going to realise if it's for you or not, right enough, and bow out if it's not. Yeah, things that drag on a bit. But I went through all the battle plans yesterday because I figured they're the biggest part of this game. Probably. I mean, there's a lot more to look at, but that's what it comes down to. I think that a lot of that, what it can come down to that. So you need to know them. But yeah, I admit it did drag on a bit. Oh yeah, and the word simultaneous. Simultaneous combat. Tim just commented on my upload of part 2. I remember that this morning, it clicked this morning, I said simultaneous, that's the word. It's funny, I've had it in my videos before and forgot it and trying to, I think somebody else has commented before, reminding me what the word is. And that's when we're talking about combat, and nobody's certainly commented on that, so my understanding is that the Union get to have their combat first, and then we get to have ours. So if our forces have been wiped out and we've got all our battle plans set up, if our forces happen to get wiped out in the Union part of the battle, then that's it, tough. They're gone, I believe. Okay, so let's try and not make this so long-winded. Now that I went through all the battle plans and understood, I want to say things will go a little bit, should go a little bit smoother. Certainly a bit more gameplay. There'll still be a slow process of me going through everything, and every so often I'll come across a rule that'll scratch my head and I'll wonder about and whatever. There's probably a couple being put in already. Vince has started watching some of it. Vince, the designer, has started watching some of it back. And yeah, I guess he'll be a busy man like the rest of us. So watching through my video footage might take him some time, assuming he has the perseverance for it. He probably will want to because it's his game and he wants to make sure everything's going out there correctly, I suppose. But sorry, it's so long-winded, Vince. What can I say? Like I say, it's just the way I do it. He has made a couple of comments. Nothing really to. He did mention that in the campaign information. No, in the special rule number 1, because I spoke about the entrench insight about possibly putting it on the fortification. It would help, Vince, if you do make comments, put timestamps down, unless you're talking about something general. It's always easier for me to look back on it, especially when my videos are that long. But it's pretty straightforward to do if you don't know how to do it. You just put whatever the time is you're looking at that time, you put the minutes and the seconds just separated by a colon. If you put that anywhere in your comment, I believe it highlights it as a timestamp. Yeah, I mean, I knew what he was talking about in this. And if it's just a general comment, that's fine. It's just that sometimes I've had comments where I'm like, where is this in the video? Where is this in my hour and a half video? And I've got to hunt through it. But no biggie. Yeah, so he commented the special rule number 1. Yeah, and I said I'd spoke about, I could put that entrenchment on the fortification. Well, that's not true. It says in the special rule that to attach entrench insight to Huger at the beginning of the battle. So I was just highlighting that point. I mean, I did leave it on Huger, so that was fine, but yes, I didn't realise that it had to be put on him, so there you go. His other couple of comments were saying, yeah, he was 30 minutes into the first video, everything looked okay, I think he said. Most of that was just general setup. Hopefully when he gets round to looking at the second part, if he can bear his way through it, there's maybe a few questions left there to just clarify, I feel like I've done everything okay, but there's a few bits and bobs. That probably, and that's really about it. I think a few comments on people like interested to see the game, and I posted the second part on BGG as well, but I put a big lengthy pinned comment in the header, just to warn you how these things are going to go. I should, like I say, I should really have put it in part one probably, but part one was maybe an introduction. Part two just seemed to drag a little bit, but then there's me almost 6 minutes in, and I'm still just yakking away and not playing the game. That's why you've come to click to play on the video, haven't you? Okay, so things went horrible, and I did wonder if I do have a chance here of like the game ending right now, and I'm thinking, well, no, surely that can't be the case, Grant. You know what I've not done still? I kind of feel like I'm maybe not allowed to do it now though. Because I've kind of left things. We're kind of seeing the outcome of this battle, but I did speak about our stack units with Lee. It's at Longstreet and the big stack in Richmond Centre. Maybe having them either going in the north or the south, because we've got to deal with. We've got to deal with these up here. We've got to shove them out of there. That's got to happen by the end of turn 2, wasn't it, I think? So, I mean, we do have these forces here, though, as well. What is here? These are all infantry, and they're all 3 combat strength. But what do they have there? Right, I might be bringing more shadow in here, because the lamp's right beside me. I mean, see, that's a 3, that's a 5. And they've got another 4 here. Right, that one down the bottom is just a 1 strength cavalry. And I want to say the cavalry only take 1 hit to eliminate, I think. And then the other three are 3s, and then even that one's got the little 1 on it. So a chance of an extra hit. So in actual fact, I maybe do want the stack to go up. Right on top you can see Longstreet's a 6. So yeah, these are all pretty powerful, aren't they? 6, 6, 5. And then that's a 3 cavalry and a 4 artillery on the bottom. And we've got garrisons and fortifications in these areas to hold them, to stop the Union just strolling in there. So, I mean, they can't move, so they're going to just sit there. Well, I feel like I've let time go by now to sort of say, well, let's have it start here, or let's have this start here. So I will just leave it where it is. I'm not sure if, can it move straight? No, it's going to have to go into there. There's a dotted line there. I'm a little struggling to see with the light. This isn't the best corner of my room to be playing, but it was only free space. Oh, that's the wrong bit. Only free space at table that I had, because I've got games everywhere. So, okay, we'll just leave it where it is, because it would be a bit tricky to move it now. So, yeah, and I was wondering, like, are we doomed here? But, I mean, surely not. Surely, if you happen to lose this battle, it doesn't look like it's a battle that should be a foregone conclusion for us to just stroll in and win this battle. I mean, they have 3, 4 forces. We've only got the 2. You know, I mean, they got this extra one from the Fog of War as well. Yeah, I mean, although our fortification's a strong one, their artillery's not. It's still not going to be, you know, there's a good chance we could lose this, which is how it's looking. Now, so, I mean, I'm assuming, my options here could be, I think, to just retreat. I don't know what happens. The fortification can't retreat, so does it just get automatically destroyed? I know you can capture artillery, but this isn't artillery, is it? So I don't think you can capture these. I'd have to have a closer look at that. But I mean, we could just retreat Huger back and let them take this area. But the other thing, last night when I finished up, I did realise that these are all going to come into here. In actual fact, that's going to move into here now as well, isn't it? Because it's not within 2. So they 3 are all going to move into there. We are then going to be able to attack them. Yeah, but we've got to see, that's a problem. Maybe I need to find this question out, actually. No, I don't really think it's a question that you need to ask, though, Grant. And what I'm meaning is, if we just use the default battle plan, which is fire, it's got to be a unit in an adjacent area within one. And they're not, but we know they're going to be. But I don't think I can put that battle plan on it. I think it's illegal to put it on just now. And I know I spoke last night about there's certain cases where you could put, for instance, we could put, let's just say we were there and we could put a fire battle plan on that default there, and that would be legal. Let's just say all these disappeared and retreated, for instance. Then our fire wouldn't be able to do anything, and then you just carry out the whole battle plan instead, I think. But I don't think I can sort of set up myself to do a fire there. There is some stuff that's 2 away though, and we know this can fire. This can carry out the fire because it's got the range, and the good thing about that is they're going to move in there, and then this is going to get a +2/+2. It's going to get hit on a 7 or less. In fact, +2/+2, it'll be a 7/2, 7/2. So the chance of 2 hits, which is even better. Right, okay. So, well, where are we? We're up here with this. I'm wondering, I'm maybe just going to go in BGG just in case somebody's pondered on the question of when you select a battle plan. It sounds silly to sort of have to look for a question or a confirmation that can you select a battle plan when it's clearly illegal to do so? When it's not in the actual battle plan. What does it say? The fire battle plan for us, Union default. Hang on a second. It's insights, right? Confederate default. All forces may use this. Do not roll to activate if in line. Roll to activate in column. Attack a Union force at range 0 melee with a +3/+3 combat value, or attack a Union force at range 1. So I mean, it can't do it. Artillery and fortifications, however, can fire beyond 1. And the good thing is that it's going to be 2 when they declare it, and then when they actually carry it out, it's going to be 1, because we're not going to put the prepare on this one this time. Well, we might be able to find something else for Huger to do though, with one of the better battle plans, maybe. So I'll need to have them ready to look at. Right, let me just go and look though in BGG for a minute. I didn't spend too much time looking for that, to be honest, because I really don't think it's something we should be looking for. I think when we select a battle plan for this, it's got to be legal within the terms of the battle plan. That's what I'm going to go with, and hopefully we'll get confirmation about that. Now the other thing is I'm just reminding myself of infantry and cavalry. I want to say can't fire in when they're in the reserves. Now where am I going to find that? In the rule book somewhere. So give me a second. I'll tell you what. One thing I don't like about the rule book is the contents. They're just a jumble. Everything's set out in the sequence of play as you go through the book. I think the rules are set out that way, that's okay. But there's 3 pages here of contents, and there's no structure to them. I'm looking down here. They're not in alphabetical order. They're not set out in little sections. They're just. And I'm not sure what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for Confederate Reserve, I guess. Confederate Replacement Artillery. Oh. Right, I'll just have to. It's not really very well set up, and there's not any index to sort of help. So I don't think that's very great, to be honest. Doesn't look like it's going to be helpful unless you see the word that you want right away. But you're looking at 3 pages worth of rule numbers. Right, give me a sec. Right, okay, I've found that. It's under rule 10.2.14, the battlefield sheet. So just looking at the contents there. It's their battlefield sheet, page 24, but to have found that word within 3 pages, I don't know. It'd be I've probably got the downloaded file on PDF, and then you could search up. So it's probably going to be a better way for things like this. But try to find something in 67 pages worth of rules, you know. Anyway, the battlefield sheet. Well, the bit we want is on page 25. Actually, it's the last bit. Confederate reserve. It says your infantry and cavalry forces cannot attack when they are in your reserve area. Your artillery and fortifications are placed in the Confederate reserve region and can attack when they are in their own reserve region. There's no limit to the number of forces in this region. So yeah, so I can't attack with Huger, so I'm not sure what's going to happen here then. Well, let's see where we are with the sequence of play. So it's talking insights. Well, we're insights away now. That's where we were. Just take the dice off. Our insight's away now, and we don't have Lee with us, so we can't. I think what you do is you change out one of your battle plans for an insight, but you've got to also do a check to activate, I think, haven't you? Activate chosen insight if required. Alright, okay, roll d10, compare the result of Robert Lee's command rating. If equal to or lower, the insight activates. Yeah, so that's only his activate. I mean, his command rating is 2. But he's not in this battle anyway, so we can skip on by that. Right, select and place Confederate battle plans. We've got one that we can select from our 10 there. And then we've got 2 forces, so one is definitely going to have to be a default one. So let me have a glance through them all again without putting the camera on it though, and see if what we might want to select. If there's anything that Huger could pick out of that might. The fact he can't fire though, so I suppose he could select cover maybe, but he's not going to get attacked this turn. Well, that's not true. The fortification's still going to attack him, isn't it? Sorry, the artillery. Right, hang on. Right, so the only thing we can do with the fortification is fire, I think. Well, yeah, because I don't think they can move, so I don't even think we can retreat. The other one on here, the other battle plan was canister, which we would be able to do next turn, I think. The thing is, I'm saying next turn, but if then they move into the same area as we're in, the same region we're in, then this isn't going to work, is it? Cannot target Union forces melee combat. But right now, if they were, we could do that if they were in here, eh? That's the problem with that. You've got to read ahead a little bit, I suppose. But fire does allow us to do that, and I want to say at range 1, did I not say we're getting a +2/+2? Yeah. For the being at range 1, we're going to get a +2. Right now, we're at range 2, so it's going to look like that. But by the time we come to actually carry out the battle plan, it's going to be +2/+2. So that's going to be a 7 over a 7/2. So that's quite good, but I don't know what to do with Huger. I can't do anything with him. The only thing I could do is put cover on him. That's a roll to activate though as well. Cannot move or retreat. Any Union force attacking this force suffers a -1/-1 penalty at its combat value, which is, yeah, it's just going to stop the artillery from hitting him. In fact, is the artillery going to target him? Yeah, well, because it's the lower. No, would he not pick the higher actually when he's firing? I think I said this already. I think they get to pick the higher. What the word is I'm thinking of? The ranking. It's not that. It's something else. But you know what I mean. This is poor line and this is conscript. Sorry. So I think this is the worst of the bunch. I want to say I think he would pick that if he's going to hit it. So that's not going to have the cover on it anyway. But here's the other thing. Should we retreat? Disrupt. That's not going to work. We need cavalry or something for that, don't it? March, fire, disrupt, pivot, retreat, and hold. I don't know. Should we retreat, maybe? Actually, I don't think I can do that. I need to be routed, I think. Change force formation to column and retreat 1 region. Artillery cannot retreat and will be captured. 11.1. So, and then fortifications, yeah? 11.7 for more details on how fortifications attack. Just wonder, I mean, does the fortification, if I was to retreat, but I don't think I can retreat then. Where's retreat? 12.4.5, right, give me a second. Well, actually, just jump in there to allocating hits, 11.9, page 37. When a hit is inflicted on an opposing force, apply the hit on the lowest skill level force in the region you are attacking. It says you are attacking. I was under the assumption that they targeted our highest skill. Where was I reading that then? Or is that a different thing? I mean, that says when a hit is inflicted on an opposing force, but then it says in the region you are attacking, as in me, not them. But this is under just allocating hits. I don't think this is under a bit that's just relevant to Confederate. So, Right, well, I suppose I'm a little unclear about retreat, but 12.4.5 retreat on page 44 does say if your Confederate forces rout, all mobile forces must select this battle plan. So it doesn't say that I can select the battle plan unless I'm under that condition. You know, through choice. It's basically saying that if we're routing, we've got to do it. If we're not routed, I don't think we can do it. It doesn't seem to make it clear that you can do it. It says it automatically activates, change the force to column, retreat the force one region, artillery cannot retreat and will be captured. Basically just says what it says on the thing there. And then under route, it checks, there's a route check. We've done it, we looked at it already, but they need to have 3 times the force of us. So maybe I can't just, hang on, voluntary retreats. If you voluntarily retreat a force behind your Confederate reserve region, follow the above procedure for placing your forces on the map. But again, I think I've got to be under this route condition. Yeah, you know what? Somebody just asked a question on BGG and I didn't look at it, that they didn't understand route and retreat. That might be worth a look. Give me a sec. Right, okay, well that was almost embarrassing. Well, it might still be if somebody actually read. I eventually quickly deleted the post. The thread I was looking at regarding route and retreat was actually on Field Commander Napoleon. And I added an additional question to basically ask my question about can you retreat, can you only retreat if you're routed? And then realised it was on Napoleon. Whether that's the same in that game or not, it might well be. I believe there's a lot of similarities. However, I then typed in retreat search on BGG, and somebody asked, and then it clicked with me. March, and this was in, I think it's in the FAQ because it's Vince replies to him the question, and he asks, can you use March to carry out a retreat? It doesn't make it so clear here, I believe, and I think this is what I was talking about before, but I believe this is in the most recent errata frequently asked questions, just to clarify that you can use March to retreat. And in fact, Vince even says, well, the question is, can you use it to retreat towards the Union reserve area? You know, trying to get back the way. And Vince even confirms that you can even use March to come off the map. So we could still, that's a way of retreating by using March. Now what does March say though? Do you have to roll to activate? Oh, I think you do. Well, hang on. Before or after March, you may change formation to or from column or line. Do not roll to activate if in column. So I could use this, go into column, and then just go back one region off the map. I sort of feel like this Huger's kind of doomed. I mean, he might not be. We could get lucky with our fortifications. The cavalry's not going to do in this turn. It is going to do something next turn. Shall we stay and try and fight it out? Come on, Grant. You're 24 minutes in here. Come on. Well, I could do that march and retreat. No, let's just stick with it. So I've looked at them all. There's nothing that's going to help me there. So what I'm better doing then if he's just going to sit there. We're going to do the fire default battle action on the fortification clearly, and yeah, I might as well do that cover then on Huger. Well, it gives a -1. Oh, I've already said though. Oh no. Yeah, I might need to look more into this then. I'm saying that this is going to fire. I was thinking it's going to fire our higher priority, higher ranked units than our lower, where it's the opposite from us. But I didn't read that there in the rulebook, did I? So something else to try and find. Okay, well, it's in the rulebook here, and I thought, let's have a look at the skill level bit. So yeah, skill level 5.1, it's on page 9. The letters in the medallion on each force counter show the skill level from weakest to strongest. Skill levels are conscript, poor line, veteran, elite. The skill level of force is relevant when determining hits. A force with a lower skill level in the same region of the battlefield sheet as a force with a higher skill level will suffer a hit first. Yeah, so it doesn't differentiate there. The bit that it does though is slightly further on. I've got my wrong glasses on. A force with a lower skill level will suffer a shock attack before a force with a higher skill level. And this is a bit here that maybe I've read somewhere. Some Union special battle plans will also differentiate between forces with different skill levels, such as hardcover. Skill levels may also be affected by campaign-specific special rules. Well, I don't think there was anything specific with the special rules, but let's just glance at that hardcover, 14.1.2. So it must be the same for both of us. 14.1.2. Just the wording on the hardcover, I think I'll just put my mind at rest. This special battle plan can only be used when units using defensive tactics. Place the special battle plan counter next to Union infantry or artillery force with the highest skill level. No, that's not really put my mind at rest. I'm sure I read some other things about the fact that they'll pick on the higher skill levels rather than the lower. But I'm not reading that there, so we're just going to stick with that. So that does mean if I put cover on that, because this is a low skill level unit, that artillery, if he does hit, is going to be hitting this. But how does that work though? If he fires at me, he's getting a -1/-1. And he's not going to get a -1/-1 on that. So how does that work? I'm missing the obvious there, haven't I think. Or, not that I've read it this way, could it be that when he fires, he's firing at this? I just thought you fired into the area and then worked out who you were going to hit. But that does seem a bit so strange. Well, it's not really strange. If you're firing artillery, it could hit anybody, couldn't it? If you're firing from a range. If you're firing with, I don't know, what's it, muskets? Look, I'm not sure what the term for the guns that they use then. I don't know if we're still muskets or not, but rifles, probably moved on to rifles, is it? Yeah, I'm going to get all these things wrong if I try and guess them. So, but I don't know. Are they accurate? Would I be able to sort of say, let's fire at this force, or do I just the last time I'd done it? Yes, it was with the fortification. I fired into the area, then randomly selected between the lowest skill levels. In actual fact, we wouldn't have been looking at that then, because that's a higher skill level, isn't it? Right, hang on. Right, well, we do need to be clear about that, so to make sure. So I'm looking at performing an attack here on page 35. And further down it says, when a force is attacking, roll equal to its combat value or lower on a d10. If the roll is successful, inflict one hit on an opposing force. So it doesn't say there what the opposing force is. If the attacking force is a superscript, no, it is superscript. It's no subscript, superscript. And the same roll is equal to or lower than the superscripted value, the attack scores 2 hits. And then it just, moves on to artillery and modifiers and attack bonuses. Then it comes to allocating hits. When a hit is inflicted on an opposing force, apply the hit on the lowest skill level force in the region. Well, I can't work that out then, can I? If this is getting a cover of -1/-1 to the attacking force, and this is not, it's going to be easier to hit this. I mean, don't get me wrong, the range is out anyway, but let's just say, you know, that this was attacking with 2, right? Let's just say it was within range, where it doesn't get a -2/-2 modifier, or -3/-3, whatever it is. Then, let's just say it's got a combat strength of 2. If it attacks this, it's going to attack with a combat strength of 1. If it attacks this, it's going to attack with a combat strength of 2. So how do you decide that? Let's look at cover again in case you've got that wrong. Well, I forgot. We've got to roll to activate to place that cover anyway. So that's going to be unlikely because I need a 2 or less. But does it roll to activate? The force cannot move or retreat. Any Union force attacking this force suffers a -1/-1 penalty to its combat value. This force gains a +1 bonus to its combat value, making a shock check. Well, it still doesn't really answer my question there, as in, that needs to know, if it's going to hit, it's got a better chance of hitting this. However, this has got a better skill level, so technically it's wanting to look at this because the lower skill level, but I think that shouldn't be decided until we decide if they've got a hit. I mean, let's just say he rolls a 1, it's going to be able to hit either force, so fair enough. And sorry, I'm talking about if he needs a 2 to hit this and a 1 to hit this, and he rolls a 1, then this is hit, fair enough. It's got the lowest skill level. If it rolls a 2 though, it's not hitting this, but it can hit this. Is it allowed to hit this still? I'm not sure that's clear there, but it's kind of important, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just typing out my question here on BGG, and then just realising I'm forgetting, which it seems I'm struggling to get my head around this, because of this whole not simultaneous thing happening. No, is this the case? Yeah, no, it is. Although I've assigned, I have to do it first. Now, hang on, let's get the terminology right. Select and place. And place them on eligible forces. Oh dear. So I have to do this. I'm selecting and placing cover on this, and I'm selecting fire on this. That's that step. The next step is they're going to mess with their battle plans. And then the next step is the next step will be they're going to determine their tactics and how many battle plans are getting. I think. And then the next step is they're going to draw and assign their battle plans. Okay? So let's just say we'll place them all out. And then the next step is they're going to resolve their battle plans. And then we're going to resolve ours. So again, it's the same as that, the previous combat. And I don't know, well, see, folk might not have watched through that yet to tell me what was the one that they had. But because I done the prepare, I felt like I was able to get in a shot first. But right now, I'm not going to have this cover here, because I've not resolved my Confederate battle plans yet until they resolve theirs. So when they resolve theirs, this is going to fire at me. I'm not going to have this cover there. Is that right? I think so. Strange. I mean, it tells me to place the battle plan out. Select the number of Confederate battle plans and place them on eligible forces. But the step that allows me to resolve the battle plans is after the time that this guy's been fired at. Carry out the orders indicated on each battle plan counter. So I'm not carrying the cover orders out yet. So therefore, when this fires, there's actually no point in putting that on then, is there? I'm missing something here. It seems like, am I ever going to have a point in putting cover on him then? I must be missing something here. I must be. Because this cover's going to go on. They're going to do all the firing. Then I'm going to activate my cover. And it's going to do nothing. And then it's going to go away at the end of the turn. End of the battle turn. So I'm clearly missing something. This must apply right away. But then I said, what was it? The other one? I said the other one wasn't applying and we were allowed to sneak in and get a shot in. But I don't know. Because there's absolutely no point in me having that. The only way I'd be able to benefit from that is if I had 2 battle plan points and I was able to do prepare on it as well. Because then I'd be able to prepare the cover first before they fired. Well, I don't know. I feel like this is needing to know things here. I mean, I guess I think I left the question about this in the last video, but that's going to maybe take some time for somebody to pick up on that and answer it. Maybe I need to try and ask this on BGG. Okay, it's going to be a long-winded, complicated question, this, I think. Right, I'll get back to this in a minute. Okay, just to try and get moving on with things here, I'm not going to look more into this. This question was asked here on BGG by Sebastian. The cover battle plan counter makes a Confederate force harder to hit. However, it needs a roll for activation to succeed. When should I make this roll? The moment I assign the battle plan, or only when the Confederate battle plans are resolved? If the former, is this an exception to the rule that all Confederate battle plans are resolved only after the Union has gone? Yeah. And if the latter, how do I know whether or not the battle plan will apply this turn? Yeah. Because like I'm saying, if it resolves after they've fired, how are we going to know? Right, well, this is being answered by the designer, Vince. It does clarify that it wasn't clear in the rulebook. When the cover battle plan is assigned to the force, and yes, it is an exception, this should have been made clear in the rulebook. Apologies, Vince. So, that tends... And what I done then was look at all the other battle plans, and I don't think any of them really matter here. Well, they certainly matter, to when you're applying them, when you're resolving them, they certainly matter, because like I've said, when I fire with this, I'm going to be firing at looking like it's going to be a minus... No, is it a -1 modifier for that? For being 2? No, it's good. I'm going to be firing with that on them, thinking at the moment it's a 0-0 modifier. However, once they move into there, then I'm going to fire with a +2 modifier. So you kind of got to look ahead to that. That's unless these do something else, but I'm pretty sure they're just going to move. They're just going to advance. But none of the other ones matter to a situation like this with the cover. Okay, so you know what? Let's just roll for cover on that guy. I mean, I need to roll a 2 anyway, a 2 or less. So let's try it. So that's what we're going to attempt. And if this fails, he just holds, right? Let's just do it. Right, we got a 4. So that's not happening either then. Right, so we're not getting cover. That's us used up our 1 battle plan. We assigned the fire default battle plan to that. That's it, right? Yeah, let me know if I'm getting that right. And if we had succeeded there, he would have that cover on him come the time that they fire. And like I say, I think the cover battle plan is maybe the only one that needs clarification on the likes of something like that. I could be wrong. We might come across more and then say, how does that work? And if we have to go second. Yeah, anyway, so we've done that then. So determine Union tactics. Well, we know they're staying aggressive throughout this battle. So we don't need to look at that. And we know they're getting 2 battle plans, because that's what they get. Draw and assign Union battle plans as indicated. Right, okay. So we're going to randomly draw 2 battle plans again for them out of the cup. So here's the first one. Well struck, and that's aggressive. Okay, that's good then. No, I mean, I'm not quite sure what it does, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to stop if I draw the charge one. Pretty sure. I'm just going to move on because time is a ticking again, and we might not. Right, this is smoke, so that's going to affect us attacking them, which is also bad. So well struck and smoke. So let's just look at this quickly. That's insights. Right, Union special battle plans. Well struck, needs to be aggressive. All Union infantry and cavalry forces get +2/+0 to their combat value when making range 1 attacks this turn. Well, fortunately, we've not got anyone in range 1. This does not apply to a Union cavalry force making a range 2 attack using the combat battle plan. Okay, yeah, so like we done last time with the cavalry doing the 2 range, well struck wouldn't have helped that. And in fact, well struck's not going to do anything, is it? Because they've nothing at range 1. Oh, that's good then. And then smoke. All Confederate forces suffer a -1 penalty to their combat value this turn. So our fortification here, although it looks like it'll probably get a +2/+2, it's going to lose another -1. That is -1. Yeah, -1. That's annoying because it's going to take this superscript. I forgot again. The superscript number down from 2 to 1 as well, isn't it? If this is what's going to happen with these. So that's that. So again, I've got to assume, this doesn't affect their forces, the smoke and well struck, and actually in this case it doesn't. But if right now they were at range 1, wouldn't well struck apply to them? I get the feeling it's an extra. It's not an actual battle. They're still going to have to get given a default battle plan. But again, I could be wrong with that. And it could be that they only benefit from the well struck. Let's just say they were all in here right now. And they're going to get that well struck advantage of... that is affecting them. And that's the words it uses. That's the words it uses in... That's up here, isn't it? It's in the battle turns. Draw and assign Union battle plans. Union forces not assigned or affected by a special battle plan are assigned a default battle plan. So, well struck, all Union and infantry and cavalry forces get +2/+0 to their combat value in making a ranged attack. That affects them. So, in this case, maybe no, they don't get anything. Yeah, but hold on, Grant. Hold on. That gives them a +2/+2 combat value, but they need to be given an order to attack. They need to get a plan to attack. And that doesn't give them the plan to attack, it just boosts the attack. Yeah, see, it must be that it's just an extra. I'm not so sure that's clear, very clear in the rules and the wording there about affecting, if they're not affected, they get to draw default battle plan. I don't know. It could be that I'm just being a little bit picky with that one, maybe. Okay, so well struck's not going to help them. Smoke's going to affect me. So, default battle plans. Right, well, we know this is going to get given combat. And the rest are all going to get advanced, aren't they? Because combat needs to be range 1 at best, and or melee. It can be for infantry, and you need to be at least range adjacent, don't you? Right, it's default battle plans going on. Combat, 1 region away. Yeah. So we can't give them the combat, and we can't give the cavalry as well, because it could if it was 2 regions away, but it's 3. It'll be able to have a shot at that next turn. If there is... Oh no, this is the last turn, isn't it? Okay, I was forgetting about that. Maybe we should have just marched back off the map. Right, well, we're here now. So we can't give them the combat default battle plan. Right, hang on a sec. Right, got a phone call there. So yeah, sorry. So the 4 default battle plans: advance, combat, and retreat and hold. I mean, hold is showing defensive under that. So I mean, I think that's only if they were on defensive they would consider that right now. Yeah, so they're not. And retreat. See, retreat there says routed only. Does it say that on our one? No, it doesn't say routed only. But the fact that we can retreat with a march default battle plan anyway, that's fine. That makes me feel better about that. Still not 100% sure if you can carry out that retreat if you're not routed though. But anyway, I suppose the fact that you can do it with march, does it matter, Grant? Maybe not. So it's just looking at combat and advance, isn't it? So these are going to advance, and so is the cavalry, and he's going to have combat. That's our default battle plan, isn't it? 2 or more regions away. Yeah, advance 1 region. Okay, so we've got that worked out. So now we're going to resolve their battle plans from nearest to us to furthest away. So these are all going to advance. And so is the cavalry. And then the artillery is going to fire. And, well, we didn't get the cover anyway. So now, yeah, he's going to fire. And if he hits, he's going to hit Huger. But he's firing with 2, and he's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 5 regions away. Does that make it any worse? No, I think it only goes to -2. Does it not? Oh no, it's 5 regions away is -3. -3. Not that matters, because he's only got a force of 2, isn't he? So yeah, so he needs a 1. But they've rolled 2 1s already, so they're rolling another 1 on this. I'm chucking this dice away, I think. Right, here we go. Right, a 5. So that misses, fortunately. And the well-struck thing didn't help them. So now it's over to us to resolve our battle plans. He was just having a hold because he failed his activation. This fortification, however, is going to attack. And being adjacent, being in range 1, it's going to get, and it's going to fire at the ones that are closest. So it's going to get a +2/+2 modifier. However, the smoke is going to make that. It's going to make that a -1/-1. So they're going to get a net +1/+1. So they're going to have a 6 with a 1. So a 1 here would be really good. And again, we've got to target the C's before the P, which is probably what we would do. The other ones are stronger. Right, so I'll switch out that dice, although it might be better with that. The bluer dice. It's been working better. So 6/1. Is that right? Yeah, I'm taking the smoke into account. Okay, so at least 6 or less, but ideally a 1. Oh man, is that a 10? That must be. Oh, we're failing miserably here. Yeah, they've got a wee symbol with a horse, and they've got a star in the other one for the 10. So that's kind of bad. You would have thought that symbol would have been on the 1 rather than the 10, but anyway, because it's like, maybe not. Anyway, we missed. So, well, not much happened then, is it? Right, can we push on and try and finish this? Well, hang on, that's going to be the last battle turn, isn't it? So, yeah, well, we should be able to wrap this up. So after that, we would do the route check. Again, they've got a strength of still 10. We've got a strength of 7, so there's not a route. And then advance a battle turn counter. Sorry, I was in there, but advance a battle turn counter. 1 box towards the withdraw box. So you can see that now it's moving into the withdraw box. So that'll tell us down here what we do next. So if the battle turn remains on the turn tracker, begin a new battle turn. If the battle turn counter enters the withdrawal box, the battle ends. So we're in withdrawal now. If the battle turn counter enters the withdrawal box, the battle ends. Total and compare the combat values of both the Confederate and Union forces remaining in the battlefield sheet. So again, 10 to 7. If one army enjoys a less than 2-1 advantage, roll a d10 and consult the campaign-specific withdrawal table. Apply the result of rejoin, Union retreat, Confederate retreat, or encamp. If one army is at a 2-1 or greater disadvantage, the forces of that army automatically retreat. Right, yeah, so if I had 5 forces and they had 10, they'd be at 2-1 or greater. So that would then force me to retreat, yeah? But that's not the case, so we're going to roll on that table. One army enjoys a less than 2-1 advantage. Roll d10 and consult the campaign-specific withdrawal table. Right, okay. Where is that then? Is it on? No, it's not up there. Right, let me find that. It might just have to be in the rule book. You would think it's on this one of these player aids or somewhere. Well, a little. Is that there? No, it's not. It's a very small table, but I can't see it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it must be on one of these player aids, but I cannot see it. So, I can't really. Well, I can show it in the rule book. It's on page 55 of the rule book. 14.8 withdrawal. So, yeah, so we're going to roll on this and see what we get. Rejoin, Union retreat, Confederate retreat, and camp. So I'll just roll that first. See what we get. So we've got a 9. Ooh, that could be good or bad, being high. Well, generally high is bad for us, isn't it? So a 9 is in camp. So what does that mean? Well, let's look in the rules. So in camp, 14.8.4, page 56. Return the Robert E. Lee counter, if present, and all the remaining forces, Confederate and Union, to the campaign map's battle location area. Do not start a new battle for the area during this campaign step. If those forces and any additional forces still occupy the same area at the end of the forced march step, 15.1, resolve a new battle after the forced march step. If those forces and any additional forces still remain in the same area at the end of the Union orders phase, resolve a new battle in the Union phase. Okay. I'm going to have to look at that and see what that... Because right enough, we've got 2 phases, 2 different ways, haven't we? Union and then... So hang on, 15.1, is that what we are going to do? Oh yeah, it is. After all battles have been concluded, follow these post-battle steps, force march. So if those forces still occupy the same area at the end of the forced march step, resolve a new battle after the forced march step. So we might be having another battle right away. However, is it true that we can maybe just move out of the area then? Okay. Right, well, we have to move everybody back. So let's just do that and get this battle eventually wrapped up. So we get Huger and the fortification. back into the Oak Grove area. I'm going to take that away. Take the battle marker off. And then, all their forces as well. The cavalry, and then the artillery are all going back in. So they've got 5 forces going back in as well. And Elk Grove. Tidy things up. I like to keep things tidy if I can. And I mean, I'm assuming he stays reduced. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Right, these battle plans can go away. Back in the cup. My guess is this comes off because this is and this will come off. There's no battle. We'll need to start again with that, I think. Yeah, because potentially something could change. They've got a command point now. Hold on, I did miss that, didn't I? Because they came in the Confederate approach, didn't they? So they should have got another command point there. So let's up that to 2. And does that come away as well? Well, this will come away because the battle's ended. And then their battle plans. How do we decide their battle plans? I think it's every... Oh, is it not at the start of the campaign that tells you? Union battle plans. Yeah, they're always going to get 2. However, the fog of war could change it. I suppose I'm as well just leaving that there, I think. Well, we'll find out come the time. Right, okay. So now we're back to the sequence of play, I suppose. And see where we are next, because this is now post-battle, isn't it? So that was a battle turn sequence. Right, why does it jump from there to Confederate resupply? Am I missing a bit? I think so. Pre-battle sequence, battle turn sequence, sequence of play. So... Right, why am I not seeing the forced march bit on this, and then the post-battle? Then it jumps on to Confederate resupply. I feel like there's a bit missing at the sequence there. Resolve battles after you complete all Union movement. No, that's Union movement, Grant. Sorry, that's where I'm getting it wrong. There's forced march there. Yeah, I'm forgetting that. I'm looking down here, thinking resolve battles, and then it goes on to Union resupply. But no, we're up. We're only. Let's just lay that down. Look at it a bit more carefully. That was just our Confederate battle phase, wasn't it? Well, hang on. No, we're following us. Sort of modified sequence of play, aren't we? Forgot about that. So after the battle, it says, right, okay. It says advance a turn counter 9.1. So basically, after that battle, it's taking us to here now. That doesn't seem right. I think we still need to do this, don't we? On the modified sequence of play, it says rule 9, it says special battle of Oak Grove, and then the next step is advanced turn counter, which basically means that the turn counter just becomes turn 1. That's not like moving on to turn 2. And then after that, it says from turn 3 check for Jackson's forces, which is special rule 2, but then it carries on moves and then resolve battles. I still feel like this forced march bit must have to come into it. You may now move. So we resolve battles. After you've completed all movements, you must resolve a battle where Confederate and Union forces are present in the same area. So let's assume that we didn't really do that, but let's just assume that was a special start of the game. And then it says the exception to this is If, after resolving a battle, two opposing forces encamp, then we refer to Rule 10. Okay. Yeah. What's this battle again? Okay, well, it just takes you right back to battle. You may now move each of your mobile forces to an area adjacent to its current area. Pay 1 command point for each force you move. Well, I've not got any command points. I can't move anybody then. Force March 15.1. Then resolve any battles as a result of a previous encamp withdrawal result. I think we're just going to have the battle again. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, because I think the normal sequence of play, this is how it would work. So I think we've got to do that, though. And then, I want to say we need to go right through then you've got Confederate resupply. There's a sequence of play of that. No, see, it doesn't have that, Grant. It's just you just deal with this battle, and then you go into moves. Then you go on to move things on the campaign map. But because of this encampment, could there not be anything telling you about that? Maybe in that FAQ. Give me a sec. Yeah, I know I'd read something, and I spoke about this before. It says 7 days battle of Oak Grove entrenched in sight. But remember, it got removed anyway, because we got hit and had to retreat. But it does say there, to confirm, if after resolving the Battle of Oak Grove you get a rejoin result on the withdrawal table, the entrenched in sight remains attached to Huger, as long as Huger is not destroyed, moves, or retreats. Well, we lost it, but that suggestion, that was a rejoin result, though, what does rejoin? Does that just mean you do the battle right away? Oh, I don't know where I'm at now. Hang on. I'm all over the place now. No, that's all just battle plans and that. There's a sequence in here, isn't it? Force March. No, in camp there, 14.8.4. That's what I'm wanting to see. Well, that might tell me it's not that one I want. There we go. Rejoin is a 1 to 2 result. So rejoin, return Robert E. Lee and all remaining forces to the campaign map's battle location area, and immediately start a new battle with his forces, starting with the Fog of War roll. So how's that different to the encamp? The encamp bit allows you to do... A camp is return them all, do not start a new battle. If those forces and any additional forces still occupy the same area at the end of the force march step, resolve a new battle after the force march step. If those forces still remain... See, surely we've got to have this force march step, haven't we? So I guess the difference is that with the force march step, you've got a chance of moving forces out or in. Whereas with rejoin, it just starts right away, I think. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to close this video off now anyway. It's an hour. I think we've finished this battle, but it looks like it's going to restart. I'm going to just maybe confirm that it does just happen right away now, or because my worry is that it maybe doesn't because of this modified sequence of play, but it clearly does here. If we had a rejoin result, we would be starting another combat, and I think because we got the encamp result, it's not much different. The only thing it allows you to adjust some forces, I think, if you had command points. That's my take on it. You may now move each of your mobile forces to an area adjacent to its current area. You can move your forces that are in the same campaign map area as Union forces as a result of encamp. Pay 1 command point for each force you move. So it doesn't speak about them moving forces. But I've not got any command points anyway. A force can move during force march step, whether it moved during the move step or not. You can force march the Robert E. Lee counter to an area. This is at no cost to do so. I don't think he can come in there, and I don't think I would want to bring him in anyway, because and then resolve any battles for camp areas that contain both. This includes areas that contain both Confederate and Union forces as a result of a previous encamp withdrawal result. Yeah, then do not start a new battle for the area during this campaign step following a new encamp withdrawal result obtained during this step. Oh, I see. So if we got another encamp step result here, you wouldn't do it, but you would leave the forces together, I think. Okay. Right, well, it looks like we're coming back to another battle there. At least we'll get to start off with a bit of distance. We might get a better fog of war result, I suppose. But I mean, our Huger's reduced. He's not got the entrench in sight on him, so it might be grim. It might be, maybe we do want to actually retreat and get out of there, I don't know. Okay, I'll leave it for now. I do hope to have a chance, maybe not later today, but next couple of days I should have a bit of time. I want to make sure when I sit down again I know what it is I'm doing though, so and it'll be a wee bit before folk get to see this video. So okay, I'll be back when I can. Cheers.